Hey, what's up everyone? Chip Walters here with another tutorial. I want to talk about a new workflow that I've been playing around with that enables me to get these basically to get 3D models from programs like MOI3D and SketchUp that don't really have very good UV mapping into physically a PBR shading environment. So I can really do a good job of texturing them and adding some wear and tear to them and all that. If you don't know what PBR is physically based rendering, and there's a example or some information about it at this New Inspiration site. Check it out. But basically, it's trying to very accurately represent the way light hits objects and changes their surface materials and creates better and more accurate renderings. So let's get started. So this is a kind of a drone model, a real simple drone model that I created, and it's in MOI. Very simple, took only a few minutes to create. So when you're going to export this, you want to export as OBJ, and you want to export each one of these objects that you think might be a different material, set them up as different objects here, and so that way when you export them, it will be easier to fill them with color. So that's what we're going to do, is go in here and say File, and I'm going to say Export, and I'm going to create a new folder, and I'll call this Drone New, and I'll call this Drone Original, and I'm going to make an OBJ file, save it, and you're going to want to probably, I'm going to make this about 10 here, and I'm going to probably divide it by let's try 9, see what that does on curve all. So I want that, yeah, let's do maybe a little bigger than that, 12. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Let's see. Yeah, I think that's going to work good. Okay, so I don't want to get too fine polished, but I think that's gonna do it for me. So I'll say okay. Okay, now that's been exported. So the next step is we use 3DCOAT. So we'll launch 3DCOAT now, and we want to paint a UV map mesh per pixel. So click on that. We'll click on this open. We'll go back to our Drone New, open this file, and it's going to tell us that we have an error, that the UV set is too big. So we're going to have to build our own. So we'll use this auto mapping right here. I want to make this the texture to be either 4K or 8K. Let's just do 8K here, and say OK. And then it's going to basically create UVs for the model, a UV texture for the model, and then it automatically does that, and then it's going to load the model in here. So once it's done, it's going to give us a little time to get that done, because that's pretty big. Okay, so if I look over here to the texture editor, we can see, let's see, I'm sorry, the Smart Materials. So let's reset the size, wireframe, there it is. So that shows you all the breakups for that particular, the UV maps for this whole object. So I'm going to really just start off here, and we're going to start adding some colors and materials to this. So to start off, I'll go into here to show you some of these areas right here, the paint objects. So we have layers. So this is going to be, I'm going to just edit this first layer that's selected and call this my base layer. And I'm going to go to objects, and if I hold the Alt key down, and I can let's go on the feet, right? Let's just click here on the feet, and there's our feet. Okay, and then I'm going to go over here. I'm going to say they're going to be rubber. I'm going to grab a rubber. So now it's going to actually create what's called a curvature calculation. This is one way that it's going to be able to render wear and tear on items. There's also an ambient occlusion pass that will have to happen right after this. These take a little time, so let's hold on. I'll pause. Okay, that's finished. It took about 30 seconds. It only has to do that once. Now it says a smart material requires an ambient occlusion layer. Okay, we need to add that. Okay, we use the defaults, and again, we'll wait for it to complete. Okay, we're back. Okay, now we've got this selected, and I can go here to this paint and just let's grab the smart material, put it over here. We'll see what this will actually show you what it looks like. But I'll go to this paint and hit this fill button, and as I click on these, you'll see they get filled pretty fast. And let's go over here. I'll just move this out of the way. There. Okay, so move this, make it a little smaller. Under here, I can use different kinds of. These are different kinds of environment maps up here. So I'm going to just use that one right there, which is this like studio one. Okay, so you can see it's got. You can see that we've got a pretty. It's pretty rough, right? So if I want to make it less rough, I'll undo, 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 and undo, and then I'll come back here to the special material preview, and I can actually go up here under this little icon right here, and I can start moving it and making it finer and finer and finer. See, now you can see that's probably a little better. Okay, let's fill that, fill that, fill that, fill that. Okay, so you kind of get the idea. So let's go ahead now that I've got that done. I want to go to the let's look at this. There's something called chrome here, which are these legs right here. These legs, so let's go into our smart materials. We'll go into metals, and here is the metals. This is one that I created, and you can always just go all the way to the very, very bottom and say new, and to create a new pure chrome, all I did was go under the metalness right here, add it up to 100, and change this to somewhere in medium, and oops, name this one Chrome 2. Okay, so I've jacked up the metalness, and then the roughness has to come all the way down. So we take that all the way 0, you can see that the rougher it comes all the way down, and that's how you make your red metal. So I'm gonna undo that, but that's just a pure clear metal chrome that I want to use. So I'm going to go back up and find that. Here it is. And again, I use a paint bucket, and I just tap it, tap it, tap it, tap it, fills it. So you can see now we've got a nice metal surface there. I'm going to make that dirty here in just a little bit, but we'll show you how it works now. Okay, so now let's zoom out a little bit, and we'll work our way up, and we'll go to the legs. So turn those on next, and I'm going to go and grab some paint for this. So I'll go to paints, and in here they have a lot of different paints that you can choose from. And I'm going to take one and modify it. I think let's find one that's like this one here. Or actually, this paint kind of goes. It looks like it goes over a metal. Let's just use this one here. Let's see what else I got here. Maybe I'll do some plastic ones instead of paint. Yeah, let's do plastic. Here's a dirty plastic. Okay, another one. Let's take a look at this. Okay, and you can see when we put that over here and zoom up, yeah, we're getting. So now I'm going to use this again to kind of make this a really smoother plastic. That looks about good. We just ought to get this done. So let's try this one. Yeah. Tap it, There we go. Okay, let's grab that. We'll just keep on capping these as we go. Okay. So you're starting to get the idea. We just added some plastic on there. Now, if I don't like that, I can actually go in here and use this eraser tool and choose this kind of thing, and I can come in and basically choose this eraser, choose a brush, a hard brush, and I could erase out on this stuff. So, but the problem is, I'm erasing all this stuff behind it too. So what I want to do then is I go into my layers and I'll turn, or my paint objects, and I'll turn everything off. But I'm going to leave that plastic the way it is. I like that. That's going to be fine. So, okay, so now we'll keep moving up. And let's look at the body, the main body. Okay, now we're going to go into some metals for that. And I'm going to grab this kind of dirty metal here, and let's adjust. Oops, sorry. I was all in. There. Let's go back in here. Use a smart preview. See what happens, and let's adjust this a little bit higher so it's not quite as. Yeah, there we go. That looks like a pretty good metal. Okay, and then I can just hit the paint button and fill that. It's taking a little bit of time, but now it's got it done. And I want to say body cap, turn that one on. I'm going to hit that fill too. Okay. And then we're going to move into the collar and the head. So no, we're using the neck. The next is next. So the next is going to be pure chrome. So we'll take that chrome, fill that. Okay. And the collar and the neck. And that's going to be this metal that we were using before here. Okay. Kind of steel. And then we're going to go into the head pivot, and I'm going to use that plastic for that. Eyeball is going to be chrome. The rotor corner buttons, these are going to be chrome also. So you see what I'm doing. I'm going to go ahead now and finish this out. Well, actually, I'm almost done. Let's see what we got. The rotor corners, those will be the red plastic. Put that there. 2, 3, 4. The rotor engines, those will be chrome. That easy. Oops. Got that one. And then rotor housings. These are going to be that darker metal. And lastly, we have the rotors themselves, and we're going to make those. Let's make those plastic. No, we'll make them metal. Let's give them a chrome. 1, 2, 3, 4. Just keep So one of the really nice things I like about this approach is it's going to give me a chance to, as I'm adding these materials, I can also start to add some pretty nice little textures and labels and things like that. So as we look at this, we can see that, okay, so this is, oops, it's automatically saving my file. So let's do that file. Save as, we're going to put it in my new. Okay, so that saves it as a 3D code file, right? So here's my object. Now that this is done, I'm going to go ahead and I want to add a few labels. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on here, but I'll show you how this works. It's pretty nice. First, we'll turn off perspective. Click up here, turn off perspective, and then as I rotate, I can hold the shift key down, and anywhere I stop, it'll actually snap to that particular viewpoint. So let's to that view. So I'm on side view. So I'm going to go in here, and there's this little thing called the spline image tool. I'll click on it, and I'll go in here. I'm going to turn off the textures. Let's see, there, and I'll double click on the snake skin. I'm going to find just one of, a label somewhere. And before I go any farther, I'm going to go to my layers, and I'm going to create a new layer above this one, and I'm going to just call this one labels. Okay, so now above base, so I click once here and once here, and now you see I've got this label, and I can just use that to adjust it. I can hold the shift key down while I'm actually, if I open, just scroll my mouse button over here, I can hold the shift key down while I'm here, and it allows me to move it around some. So I'll just move it there. I hit the return key and then the escape key, and then I'll do it again. So let's put it right, something like this right there. Enter, escape. Okay, so now it's on the labels layer. So now I'll just rotate this around, hold the shift key down to get it on this side. Move this over, and then do the same thing here. Let's go 1, 2, and move it up a little bit. Enter, escape. So that's kind of how that works. The other nice thing about this that I really like is let's add one more. Let's go to here. Add this. This warning here. Okay, go here, shift, and shift. Oops, sorry. Two, enter, escape. So you get the idea. So this is now we're starting to put some interesting looking labels on things. So here's the kind of thing that one of the reasons I like this a lot, this particular program a lot, is that they have this text tool too, right? So I can go in here and choose a font. Let's select a font. Let's go into let's see what we got here. We got science fiction. Okay, now I'm going to choose a color. I got white. White's probably pretty good. And let's put some text in here. Let's call this one the drone X01 experimental one. Okay, then I can go here and let's shift. By the way, you can also move the environment with the shift key down also, so I'll do it here. I can change the color while it's open. I can go in here, do this nice orange, enter, escape. our object. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to actually export all this to Keyshot. So let's see how we do that. Well, first we go to File, and we say Export Objects and Textures. So I'm going to choose a name for this. This is the drone new, and I'm going to call it, so it's the drone original, I'm going to call it drone original, drone new. Save it. Then I'm going to choose in here the actual, let's choose the Keyshot advanced setting, and now I'm going to say OK. Just let this, and this is going to export all the different maps at that 8K resolution. So let's go there. I'm going to pause while it does that. So now that I've got some of these stencils and labels in here, let's add one more here. Let's put something on the side here, up here, and we can do that again with right on there. So let's go ahead and pull this over here. Find a good equal triangle. Here's one right here. It's the letter Q, lowercase, small, winding 3. So we go winding 3. Okay, by the way, I noticed now that we're putting all these on the base model. It doesn't really matter, it just means I can't erase it, but that's okay. We'll just continue there. We'll just continue with that. So this is going to be letter Q, lowercase, and so once I've done that, let's go to turn this off. Okay, here we are. Now, one of the things that I found out that because I didn't do this is I can't actually go in and dim these. I can't dim the different labels and stuff. So what I can do is I'm going to create this. I'm going to turn the label off. Oh, so some of the labels are on there, some of them aren't. But so these labels, I'll go into layer blending, and I'm going to basically make the opacity. The labels area, I changed the opacity so they're a little bit darker now. In fact, I might move that up just a little bit higher than that's the depth. The opacity, I might make it like 60 return. So it's a little brighter. Now the other thing I can do is I can also go over here and add a dirt map on top of this if I want to. So if I go to layers, and let's create another layer, and let's call this one dirt. And let's go on here. Let's look at this red stuff, and let's go into dirt, and we'll grab this. And there's the preview options. And as I drag down on here, I can start to look at different kinds of dirt here. So if I use a brush, here's my material preview. Let's see. Sometimes the dirt doesn't really work, and so the brush, I may need to hit the E key, give this one. I may need to actually brush it. So there we go. Let's get it better. Let's get this one. There you go. You can see there's the brush. That's pretty good dirt. I'm going to get a little better fall off in that. So I'm going to grab this one right here. That's got a little fall off, so you can see. So I'm just going to go in here and just kind of, I'm going to make the opacity maybe a little lighter. I'm on the dirt channel, so, but Let's move this off over here. Let's. Okay, so the way this works is you go File, and you say Export Objects and Textures. As before, we got this the new object. Yep, and we're going to use the Keyshot Advanced setting and say OK. Now I'm going to put it on pause. It takes about, because it's an 8K image, it's going to take 2 to 3 minutes to set this out. So I'm going to put it on pause. Okay, I'm back. Now there's one more thing I need to do, and that is under Textures, I need to export a metalness map. So I'm going to go in here. These are all the ones that were exported. I'm going to add one more called metalness. And that's going to be a drone new. Right, metalness. So that's there. And it's going to take a while to export that. Okay, now it's exported. One more time, save. And now we're going to launch into Keyshot. Okay. And we're going to import our drone new object and keep, keep everything kind of where it is, import it. There. And here it comes in. Now you notice right off the bat that, wow, something's not right, right? So let's go back to 3DCOAT. This is what we got in here. And here, look at these, we don't have any of the chrome or anything. So what we'll need to do, I'll put this over here, is we need to adjust that. So I'm going to double click on this, and it's going to open up this material. I'm going to go to the material graph. Now I'm going to have to do this. I'm going to do this kind of in a small way if I can. Okay, so I'm going to duplicate this 5 times. Or 4 times. I want 5 maps. Okay, so these maps, by the way, if I look at this first one, this is our diffuse. It's mapped to the diffuse. It's already set to UV coordinates. So the second one we're going to look at, so that's our diffuse. Excuse me. Let's look at our next. Second one's normal. So it's going to put that in our bump channel. Okay. See, now we have a bump. We have some bumps in here. Our third one is reflection. That goes in our specular. And the other thing about that is the reflection, you bump that to 1.5. Oops. 1.5, there we go. I'm going to bump that. Okay. This one is our roughness. And we drag and drop that in the middle here to say roughness. Okay. Okay, and now let's click on this advanced, and this refraction index goes to 10. So now that this is set up, you can start to see this start to work. There we go. Now we can start to see that we got the we have the correct chrome areas. I didn't have the roughness labeled right. Now, once that's done, we could leave it like this, but I've heard that it becomes even more accurate if you add this if you add this so that these are exactly the same, so you basically pulling these in, and you take this and make that the metalness one, and you put this into the opacity channel here, and then you hook this into the label channel there, and that is how you do it. So you do hook them all up once, and then you add this one metalness, you put it in opacity, and then you put that into a label channel, and you're good to go. So now as you zoom up on this, you may see that maybe a little coarser. You can always adjust the roughness if you want to, the brightness of the roughness. But I think we're going to be pretty good. Let's go into my lighting, my environment here. Let's put a back color, something like there, something like that. You get the idea. So anyway, sorry this took a little longer, and I apologize that it was a kind of a catch as catch can kind of thing. It wasn't as good as it possibly could have been, but it's a new workflow for me, and I'm really just doing this to help myself document how to use that. So thanks everybody for hanging in there if you're still there. I want to try and do the same thing with SketchUp here, not two different features, see if I can't get something going. But as you can see, this thing turns out pretty nice when you get done. Okay, thanks a lot. Bye.